Billionaire's secret baby with his young maid, age gap pregnancy romance. She scrubbed his floors by day and carried his secret by night, a secret that would cost her everything or give her the world she never dared dream of. Thelma Shepard, 32 years old, single mother, invisible to everyone who mattered. Until the night Raymond Williamson, 38, billionaire, untouchable, looked at her like she was the only woman in the room. One night. One mistake. One pregnancy test that would shatter both their worlds. He doesn't know yet. But he's about to find out. And when he does, everything changes. Welcome back to all my beautiful returning viewers. You keep me going, and I appreciate every single one of you. And if you're new here, welcome to the family. Hit that like button, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and please subscribe so you never miss a story. Trust me, you'll want to stay until the end of this one. This story will break your heart and put it back together in the most beautiful way. Now, let's begin. Thelma's knees ached. Not the dull ache that came from a long day, the deep, bone-grinding pain that reminded her she was 32, not 22, and her body was keeping score of every floor she'd scrubbed, every toilet she'd cleaned, every corner of other people's lives she'd made shine while her own stayed dim. She pressed her forehead against the cool marble of Raymond Williamson's kitchen island and breathed. Just breathed. The house was silent except for the soft hum of the refrigerator and her own ragged exhale. 3 a.m. She'd been here since 6 p.m. yesterday, finishing the deep clean his assistant had texted about at 4:30. Mr. Williamson needs the penthouse spotless by morning. Last-minute board meeting. You understand. She always understood. Understanding was part of the job description for women like her. The penthouse gleamed now. 14,000 square feet of glass and steel and money that didn't know what to do with itself. She'd polished every surface until she could see her reflection. Round face, tired brown eyes, hair pulled back in a bun so tight it gave her headaches, skin the color of the expensive coffee Raymond Williamson probably drank without thinking about the cost. Her phone buzzed. A text from her sister Imani. Arlo's asking for you. When you coming home? Thelma closed her eyes. Arlo. Her 7-year-old son. Her whole world. The reason she was here at 3 a.m. instead of curled up in their tiny apartment, reading him the superhero stories he loved. Soon, she texted back. Tell him Ma loves him. Sweet dreams, baby. The elevator chimed. Thelma's heart stopped. Nobody should be here. Raymond Williamson was supposed to be in Tokyo for another 2 days. His assistant confirmed it. The calendar said. The elevator doors opened. Raymond Williamson stepped out, and the air changed. He was still in his suit, charcoal gray, probably cost more than she made in 6 months, but his tie was loose, his jaw shadowed with stubble, his dark hair slightly mussed. He looked tired. He looked human. He looked right at her. And for the first time in the 8 months she'd been cleaning his home, Raymond Williamson actually saw her. You're still here, he said. His voice was rough, like he'd been talking for hours or maybe hadn't talked at all. Thelma straightened, smoothing her cleaning uniform. Gray polo, black pants, both faded from too many washes. I'm just finishing up, Mr. Williamson. I'll be out of your way in. Don't. He set his briefcase down. Ran a hand through his hair. Don't apologize. I'm the one who's. He trailed off, looking around his pristine penthouse like he'd never seen it before. You did all this tonight? Yes, sir. Your assistant said you needed. Stop calling me sir. He walked to the bar, poured himself 2 fingers of whiskey. His hands shook slightly. Raymond. Please. Just. Raymond. Thelma's mouth went dry. In 8 months, he'd never asked her to call him anything. He'd barely acknowledged her existence beyond a nod when their paths crossed. Is everything all right? The words slipped out before she could stop them. He laughed. It was a broken sound. My father died 4 hours ago. The world tilted. I'm so sorry, Thelma whispered. I didn't know. I can leave. You should be alone. He drained the whiskey. Poured another. I've been alone for 38 years. What's one more night? He looked at her then, really looked, and something in his gray eyes made her chest tight. You have kind eyes. Has anyone ever told you that? No. Her voice barely worked. They should. He moved closer. Not threatening. Just close. What's your name? Your real name. Not the cleaning lady, or whatever my assistant calls you. Thelma. Thelma Shepherd. Thelma. He said it like he was tasting it. That's a beautiful name. Old-fashioned. Strong. She should leave. Every instinct screamed at her to grab her supplies and run. But his grief was so raw, so real, and she knew that kind of pain. The kind that made 3 a.m. feel like the loneliest hour in the world. Can I make you some coffee? She offered. Or tea. Something to eat. You don't have to take care of me. I know. He smiled. It was sad and grateful and something else she couldn't name. Coffee would be nice. Thank you. Have you ever met someone at the exact moment when both of you needed someone most? Drop a heart in the comments if you believe in fate. They sat at his kitchen island, him on one side, her on the other, a careful distance maintained. She made coffee the way she'd learned from watching him from afar. Strong, black, exactly 3 ice cubes because he liked it cool enough to drink immediately. He noticed. You pay attention. It's my job. No. He wrapped both hands around the mug. Your job is to clean. This is something else. He took a sip, closed his eyes. Perfect. They were quiet for a while. Not uncomfortable. Just quiet. My father, Raymond said finally, was not a good man. But he was my father, and now he's gone, and I feel. He shook his head. I don't even know what I feel. You feel everything and nothing at the same time, Thelma said softly. Like your heart is too full and too empty. Like you should cry but you can't. Like you want to scream but you don't have the energy. He stared at her. How do you know? My mama died 4 years ago. Cancer. She was only 56. Thelma traced the rim of her own coffee mug. I was angry at her for leaving. Angry at God for taking her. Angry at myself for being angry. Grief is messy like that. I'm sorry about your mother. I'm sorry about your father. Their eyes met across the marble, and something passed between them. Recognition. Understanding. The lonely seeing the lonely. Do you have anyone? Raymond asked. Husband. Partner. No. Just my son. Arlo. He's 7. You're a mother. He said it like it explained everything. That's why you knew to make me coffee. Why you stayed even though you could have left. Maybe. Definitely. He stood, came around the island. Stood close enough that she could smell his cologne, cedar and something expensive she couldn't name. Thank you, Thelma. For seeing me tonight. For not treating me like I'm made of glass or money. She tilted her head back to look at him. He was tall, 6'2", maybe 6'3", but he didn't loom. He just was. You're welcome, Raymond. Hearing his name from her lips did something to him. She saw it in the way his jaw tightened, the way his eyes darkened. I should go, she whispered. But she didn't move. Neither did he. You should, he agreed. But his hand lifted, fingers brushing a loose curl that had escaped her bun. But I don't want you to. Her breath caught. Mr. Williamson. Raymond. Raymond. His name felt dangerous on her tongue. This isn't, we can't. I know. But his hand cupped her cheek now, thumb tracing her jawline. I know all the reasons this is a terrible idea. I can list them. I'm your employer. You work for me. This crosses every line. But Thelma. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. I haven't felt human in years. Not until tonight. Not until you looked at me like I was just a man who lost his father, not a billionaire who lost an asset. She should push him away. Should run. Should remember that men like Raymond Williamson didn't see women like her as anything but temporary. But his grief was a mirror of her own loneliness, and she was so tired of being invisible, and when his lips met hers, soft and questioning and achingly gentle, she forgot every single reason to say no. The kiss deepened. His hands slid into her hair, pulling her bun loose, and she gasped against his mouth. He tasted like whiskey and desperation and something that felt dangerously close to hope. "Tell me to stop," he breathed against her lips. "Tell me this is crazy." "It's crazy," she whispered back, but her hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. "Tell me you don't want this." "I can't." He kissed her harder then, like she was oxygen and he was drowning, and she let him. Let herself be wanted, just for one night. Let herself forget that tomorrow she'd be invisible again. Raymond's bedroom was all floor-to-ceiling windows and city lights and a bed bigger than Thelma's entire living room. She shouldn't be here. She absolutely should not be here. But his hands were gentle as he undressed her, his eyes reverent, and every touch said "you're beautiful" in a language she'd forgotten how to hear. "You're shaking," he murmured against her collarbone. "I'm nervous." "We don't have to." "I want to." And she did. God help her, she did. They came together like two people who'd been alone too long, seeking comfort in skin and heat and the temporary forgetting that bodies could offer. He touched her like she mattered, like every curve and softness was something precious, and when he whispered her name, "Thelma, beautiful Thelma," she almost believed she could be more than the invisible woman who cleaned his floors. After, they lay tangled in sheets that probably cost more than her car, both breathing hard, both quiet. "I don't do this," Raymond said into the darkness. "I don't, with employees. Ever. I have rules." "I know. But you're not just an employee." "Yes, I am." He turned to face her, hand cupping her jaw. "No. You're the woman who made me feel human again on the worst night of my life. You're the woman who knew exactly what I needed without me having to ask. You're Thelma Shepard, and you're extraordinary." Tears pricked her eyes. "Don't. Please don't say things you don't mean." "I mean every word." He kissed her forehead. "Stay, please. Just tonight. Let me not be alone." She should leave. Should protect her heart. Should remember that fairy tales didn't happen to women who cleaned houses for a living. But his vulnerability was a mirror of her own, and she was so tired of being strong, so she stayed. They talked until dawn, about everything and nothing. He told her about his father's empire, the pressure, the loneliness of being Raymond A. Williamson, heir to billions. She told him about Arlo, about raising a son alone, about dreams she'd tucked away when real life demanded she survive instead of thrive. "What would you do?" Raymond asked as the sun painted the sky pink. "If money wasn't an issue. If you could do anything." "Go back to school," she said without hesitation. "Get my nursing degree. I was 2 semesters away when Arlo came and—" She shrugged. "Life happened." "Why nursing?" "Because taking care of people matters. Because healing matters." She smiled. "Because the nurse who held my hand when Arlo was born changed my life with her kindness, and I want to be that for someone else." Raymond looked at her like she'd said something profound. "You're remarkable. I'm a maid. You're a mother. A dreamer. A survivor." He kissed her softly. "You're Thelma." When she finally left at 7 a.m., slipping out while he showered, she told herself it was just one night. A beautiful, impossible night that belonged to grief and loneliness and temporary madness. She would forget. He would forget. They would both go back to their separate worlds, and that would be that. Sometimes one night changes everything. Have you ever had a moment that shifted your entire life? Tell me in the comments. The pregnancy test stared back at Thelma with 2 pink lines that might as well have been a death sentence. Pregnant. She was pregnant. With Raymond Williamson's baby. Thelma sat on her bathroom floor, Test clutched in shaking hands, and tried to breathe through the panic crushing her chest. This couldn't be happening. They'd been careful. Mostly careful. Okay, they'd been drunk on grief and loneliness and each other, and maybe careful was generous, but... Ma. Arlo's voice through the door. You okay? You been in there forever. I'm fine, baby. Just give Ma a minute. But she wasn't fine. She was so far from fine she couldn't even see fine from where she stood. She'd avoided Raymond's penthouse for 6 weeks. Called in sick. Sent her sister to cover shifts. Anything to not see him, not remember how he'd touched her like she was precious, not face the morning after reality that men like him didn't fall for women like her. And now this. She was 32, barely making rent, raising a 7-year-old alone, and pregnant by a billionaire who probably hadn't thought about her once since that night. Thelma pressed her forehead to the cold tile and tried not to cry. Arlo would hear. He always heard when she cried, and he'd worry, and he was too young to carry her burdens on his small shoulders. Her phone buzzed. A text from her supervisor, Raymond Williamson's assistant, called. Wants you specifically for tonight's event. Big tip involved. Can you make it? The universe had a sick sense of humor. I'm not most men. His gray eyes were fierce. And you're not alone anymore. Do you hear me? Whatever happens, whatever you decide, you're not alone. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him so badly it hurt. What if you change your mind? She whispered. What if you wake up tomorrow and regret everything? I won't. You don't know that. Yes. He kissed her forehead. I do. Would you trust him? Would you believe a billionaire who says he won't walk away? Let me know what you'd do. They talked for 2 hours. Raymond asked questions, gentle ones, careful ones. About her pregnancy symptoms. About Arlo. About what she needed. What she wanted. I want to keep the baby, Thelma said quietly. I know that complicates things, but I can't. This baby is mine. Ours. And I want them. Then we keep them. Raymond said it like it was simple. Like there weren't 1,000 obstacles between them. What else? She should say no. Should stay as far away from Raymond Williamson as possible. Should protect herself and this impossible situation growing inside her. But rent was due. Arlo needed new shoes. And the test in her hand was a reminder that her choices had consequences. I'll be there, she texted back. Then she stood, washed her face, tucked the pregnancy test in the bathroom drawer where Arlo wouldn't find it, and went to make her son breakfast. Because that's what mothers did. They kept moving forward, even when the world was falling apart around them. The Williamson estate was alive with glittering people and expensive champagne and the kind of wealth that Thelma only saw from the outside. She wore her uniform, gray polo, black pants, and blended into the background with the other servers. Invisible again. Exactly where she belonged. Except Raymond saw her immediately. She felt his eyes across the ballroom, felt the weight of his stare, felt her body respond in ways it absolutely should not given the circumstances. Don't look. Don't engage. Just do your job and leave. But when she turned with a tray of champagne flutes, there he was. 3 feet away. Gray eyes locked on hers. Looking at her like the last 6 weeks hadn't happened, like they hadn't created a life together that night, like he'd missed her. Thelma. Just her name. But the way he said it. Mr. Williamson. Professional. Cool. Distant. His jaw tightened. Can we talk? Please. 5 minutes. I'm working. After, then. Wait for me. I can't. Please. Something in his voice cracked, and she made the mistake of looking, really looking, at him. He looked tired. Thinner. Lonely in a way that echoed through her own bones. 5 minutes, she heard herself say. After the party ends. Relief flooded his face. Thank you. Then his father's lawyer called his name, and Raymond straightened, became the billionaire heir again, and walked away. Thelma served champagne to people who didn't see her and tried not to throw up from morning sickness disguised as nerves. Raymond's office in the estate was all dark wood and leather and the smell of old money. Thelma perched on the edge of a chair that probably cost more than her monthly salary and tried to calm her racing heart. He closed the door, leaned against it, looked at her like she was water and he'd been dying of thirst. "You disappeared," he said quietly. 6 weeks. No word. I thought. He ran a hand through his hair. "I thought maybe I'd imagined how perfect that night was." "It wasn't perfect. It was a mistake." "Don't say that. It's true." She forced herself to meet his eyes. "You were grieving. I was there. It happened. But it can't happen again." "Why not?" "Because you're Raymond Williamson, and I'm the woman who cleans your floors." She stood. "I should go. I haven't stopped thinking about you." The words burst out of him. "Every day for 6 weeks. Your laugh. Your kindness. The way you looked at me like I was just a man, not a bank account. I can't stop thinking about you, Thelma." Her chest ached. "Don't do this." "Do what?" "Tell you the truth." He crossed to her, but didn't touch. "That night changed me. You changed me. I don't want to go back to being the person I was before." "You don't even know me." "Then let me. Let me take you to dinner. Let me learn everything about you. Let me. I'm pregnant." The words detonated between them like a bomb. Raymond froze. Blinked. "What?" "I'm pregnant." Thelma forced the words past the lump in her throat. 6 weeks. Yours. I took 3 tests to be sure, but yeah. Pregnant. He stared at her like she'd spoken a foreign language. "Pregnant. I'm not asking you for anything," she rushed to say. "I'll handle it. You don't have to be involved. You should know. You deserve to know. But I'm not looking for money, or a relationship, or—" "Stop." He gripped her shoulders gently. "Stop talking." Tears burned her eyes. "I'm sorry. I know this wasn't part of the plan. I know this complicates everything. Thelma." He cupped her face, thumbs wiping away tears she didn't realize were falling. "Breathe. Just breathe." She tried. Failed. Tried again. "You're pregnant," he said slowly, like testing the words. "With my baby." "Yes. And you were just going to handle it alone? Not tell me." "I was going to tell you. I'm telling you now." 6 weeks later. "I was scared. The dam broke. I'm 32, Raymond. I barely make rent. I have a 7-year-old son who needs me. And now I'm pregnant by a billionaire who I slept with once, and I don't know what to do, and I'm terrified, okay? I'm absolutely terrified." He pulled her into his arms, and she collapsed against his chest, sobbing like the world was ending. "Maybe it was. Shoo," he murmured into her hair. "I've got you. I've got you. You don't have to." "Yes, I do." He pulled back to look at her. "You're carrying my child. Our child. You think I'm going to just walk away? Let you handle this alone? Men do it all the time. I don't want Arlo to know yet. Not until we figure out what this is." "What do you want it to be?" "I don't know." She twisted her hands in her lap. "I don't do casual. I can't. Not with a baby involved. But I also can't pretend this is something it's not. What if it's real?" Raymond leaned forward. "What if that night wasn't just grief and loneliness? What if I meant every word I said? Then you're crazy." "Maybe." He smiled. "Or maybe I'm the first person to see you clearly." Her phone buzzed. A text from Imani. "Arlo's asking when you're coming home. Says he misses his ma." Reality crashed back in. "I have to go," Thelma said, standing. "Arlo needs me." Let me drive you. No. People will see. We'll talk. I don't care. I do. She headed for the door. I have a son to protect. A life that can't be splashed across tabloids. This is complicated enough without. Then let me help make it less complicated. Raymond caught her hand. Move in with me. She laughed. She couldn't help it. You're insane. I'm serious. You're pregnant, struggling with rent, raising a son alone. I have 14,000 square feet of space sitting empty. Move in. Let me help. No strings. Just, let me do this. I can't just move into your penthouse, Raymond. That's practical, smart, safe. He squeezed her hand. Please, let me take care of you. Both of you. All three of you. Every instinct screamed no. This was too fast. Too much. Too impossible. But rent was due. And Arlo needed shoes. And she was so tired of struggling alone. I need time to think, she said finally. Take all the time you need. He pulled out his wallet, extracted a black credit card. In the meantime, take this. Absolutely not. For Arlo. For prenatal vitamins. For whatever you need. I'm not taking your money. It's not for you. It's for our baby. He pressed the card into her hand. Please. Let me do this one thing. She looked at the card. At him. At the impossible situation they'd created. One thing, she said. That's it. Whatever you say. Liar. They both knew this was just the beginning. 3 days later, Thelma found herself standing in a baby store with Raymond Williamson, trying to explain why spending $2,000 on a crib was unnecessary. It's a crib, Raymond. The baby won't care if it's from Target or Tiffany's. But I care. He gestured to a white monstrosity that looked like it belonged in a palace. This one converts to a toddler bed, then a full-size bed. It'll last until they're 18. It costs more than my car. Then your car is too cheap. He said it without thinking, then winced. I didn't mean. I know what you meant. She walked away, toward the clearance section. He followed. Thelma. Wait. No. She spun to face him. You can't just throw money at everything and expect it to fix things. That's not how life works. Not my life, anyway. I'm just trying to help. I know. But you're not helping. You're overwhelming me. She pressed her hands to her temples. I didn't ask for any of this. The pregnancy, the money, the penthouse offer. I just wanted to clean your floors and go home to my son and live my quiet life. Is that really what you wanted? Raymond asked gently. Or is that what you settled for because you didn't think you deserved more? The question hit like a punch. Don't psychoanalyze me. I'm not. I'm asking. He moved closer. When's the last time someone took care of you, Thelma? When's the last time you weren't responsible for everything and everyone? Her eyes burned. That's not fair. You're right. It's not. He cupped her face. You've been so strong for so long. You're a mother. A survivor. You've done everything right. But you're exhausted. I can see it in your eyes. And I'm asking, begging, you to let me help carry the weight. Just for a little while. A tear slipped down her cheek. Why? Why do you even care? Because that night showed me what I've been missing. Connection. Realness. You. He kissed her forehead. Because somewhere between grief and coffee and talking until dawn, I started falling for you. And I can't stop. Don't want to stop. Raymond. I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. I know you have every reason not to trust this. His gray eyes were devastatingly honest. But I'm asking you to try. Move in. Let me prove I'm serious. Give us a chance to figure out what this is. And if it doesn't work, Then you leave. No strings. No guilt. I'll set up a trust for the baby, help with Arlo, whatever you need. But at least we'll know we tried. She looked around the baby store, at the cribs and strollers and tiny clothes that represented a future she hadn't planned. A future that terrified and thrilled her in equal measure. Okay, she whispered. Okay. We'll try. But on my terms. She pointed at him. No $2,000 cribs. No platinum credit cards. And Arlo comes first. Always. If he's not comfortable, if any of this feels wrong, we stop. Agreed. Agreed. And we take things slow. Separate bedrooms. No expectations. Whatever you need. She studied his face, looking for lies. Found only hope. Then, okay. We'll move in. Temporarily. Just until we figure out what this is. Raymond's smile could have lit the entire store. Thank you. You won't regret this. God, she hoped he was right. Moving in together when you're pregnant and barely know each other. Smart or disaster waiting to happen? Drop your thoughts below. The penthouse looked different when you lived there instead of cleaned it. Thelma stood in the massive living room, her living room now, apparently, and tried to process the last week. Raymond had moved them in with military efficiency. Hired movers. Arranged for Arlo's school transfer. Bought furniture for the guest room that was bigger than their entire old apartment. Made everything look easy when Thelma knew it was anything but. Ma, come see my room. Arlo's voice echoed through the space. She found him in what Raymond called the second bedroom, but what looked like a suite at a 5-star hotel. King bed. Desk. Gaming setup. Windows overlooking the city. This is crazy, right? Arlo spun in circles. Like, actually crazy. I have my own bathroom, Ma. My own bathroom. Thelma's chest tightened. This was exactly what she'd feared, Arlo getting attached to a life that might disappear the moment Raymond realized what he'd signed up for. Baby, remember what we talked about? This is temporary. We're just staying here while you and Mr. Williamson figure things out. I know. Arlo flopped on the bed. But can I enjoy it while it lasts? Please. She sat beside him, running fingers through his curls. Yeah, you can enjoy it. Is he nice? Mr. Williamson. Yes. Very nice. Is he gonna be my dad? The question knocked the air from her lungs. Arlo. I'm just asking. He shrugged, trying for casual and failing. Some of the kids at school have dads. They go to ball games and stuff. I just wondered if maybe. Oh, her sweet boy. Her brave, beautiful boy who'd never complained about having just her, who'd never made her feel like she wasn't enough, but who still dreamed of having a father. Mr. Williamson and I are friends, she said carefully. Good friends. And he wants to help us. But we're not, that's not. Okay. Arlo hugged her. It's okay, Ma. I got you. That's all I need. But she heard the hope in his voice. Heard the wish he wouldn't say out loud because he didn't want to hurt her feelings. And she wondered, not for the first time, if she'd made a terrible mistake accepting Raymond's offer. Raymond came home at 7 with Thai food and an apologetic smile. I meant to be back earlier, but the board meeting ran long, and he stopped when he saw her face. What's wrong? Nothing. Thelma. Arlo asked if you were going to be his dad. She set down the prenatal vitamin she'd been about to take. He's already getting attached. Already hoping for things that might not happen. Raymond set the food on the counter. Pulled out a stool beside her. What did you tell him? That we're friends. That this is temporary. She twisted her hands together. I'm trying to protect him, Raymond. Trying to make sure he doesn't get hurt when this falls apart. Why are you so sure it will? Because things like this don't happen to people like me. What if you're wrong? He turned her to face him. What if I'm serious? What if I want to be Arlo's dad, and your partner, and this baby's father? You don't even know him. You don't know me. Not really. Then let me learn. Raymond's voice was quiet but firm. I grew up with a father who saw me as a business asset, who measured my worth in stock prices and board seats. I won't do that to our child. Or to Arlo. If I'm going to be in their lives, I'm going to show up. Really show up. That's easy to say now. Then watch me prove it. They stared at each other across the marble, the same marble where they'd first talked months ago, when everything was simpler and nothing was at stake. Arlo likes basketball, Thelma said finally. He's on a rec league team. Games are Saturday mornings. Raymond smiled. Then I'll be there Saturday morning. Raymond. I mean it. He squeezed her hand. Give me a chance, Thelma. Let me show you I'm not going anywhere. Against her better judgment, against every self-protective instinct, she nodded. One chance, she whispered. That's all I need. Saturday morning, Raymond showed up to Arlo's basketball game in jeans and a Knicks t-shirt, looking more human than Thelma had ever seen him. Arlo's eyes went wide. You came. Of course I came. Raymond held up a foam finger. Couldn't miss the big game. The other mothers noticed immediately. Whispered. Stared. Thelma felt their judgment like a physical weight. That's the maid who moved into the Billionaire'S penthouse. Wonder how long that'll last. Poor kid's gonna be devastated when reality hits. She almost turned around. Almost grabbed Arlo and ran. But then Raymond's hand found hers, warm and steady, and he leaned close. Ignore them. This is about Arlo. Nothing else matters. So she stayed. And watched Raymond cheer louder than any father there. Watched him high-five Arlo after every basket. Watched him explain plays during timeouts like he actually understood basketball. Watched him treat her son like he mattered. After the game, a close win that had Arlo bouncing with joy, Raymond took them for ice cream. You were amazing out there, Raymond told Arlo. That three-pointer in the fourth quarter? Incredible. Really? Arlo grinned, chocolate ice cream on his chin. Really? You've got skills. Ma says I get my coordination from her. She used to play volleyball. Raymond looked at Thelma. You played volleyball? She shrugged, embarrassed. High school. Nothing serious. She was team captain, Arlo said proudly. Got a scholarship and everything. But then she had me, so. The unfinished sentence hung heavy. Well, Raymond said, sounds like she made the right choice. I mean, look at you. You're pretty awesome. Arlo beamed. And Thelma's carefully protected heart cracked a little wider. That night, after Arlo was asleep, she found Raymond on the balcony, staring out at the city. Thank you, she said quietly. For today. It meant a lot to him. It meant a lot to me too. He turned to face her. He's a great kid, Thelma. You've done an incredible job with him. I've tried. You've succeeded. Raymond hesitated. Can I ask you something? Sure. His father. Is he gone? Completely. Thelma leaned against the railing. I got pregnant at 25. Thought I was in love. Thought we'd build a life together. He disappeared the day I told him about the baby. Haven't heard from him since. I'm sorry. Don't be. Arlo and I are better off. She smiled sadly. But it's made me careful. Maybe too careful. I don't let people in easily. Because you're afraid they'll leave. Because I know they will. She looked at him. Everyone leaves eventually, Raymond. Everyone. Not everyone. He moved closer. I'm still here. Still showing up. It's been 2 weeks. Then give me 2 more. 2 months. 2 years. However long it takes for you to believe I'm not going anywhere. She wanted to believe him. Wanted it so badly her chest ached. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Me too." He pulled her into his arms. "Terrified, actually. I've never done this. Never wanted to do this. But, with you, I want to try. Want to be the man you and Arlo deserve." "What about the baby?" "Especially the baby." His hand moved to her still flat stomach. "This little person is already changing everything. Making me want things I never thought I'd want." "Like what?" "Family dinners. Saturday morning games. Bedtime stories." He kissed her temple. "A life that matters beyond stock prices and board meetings." "That's not your world." "Then I'll build a new one. With you." Is he really changing, or just caught up in the moment? Can a billionaire really want a simple life? Tell me what you think. Thelma should have known it was too good to last. 3 months into living with Raymond, just as she was starting to believe in impossible things, reality crashed back in the form of a headline. Billionaire heir Raymond Williamson spotted with mysterious woman and child. Secret family? The photo was damning. Raymond, Thelma, and Arlo leaving the ice cream shop, looking like a family. Looking happy. Her phone exploded. Texts from friends she hadn't heard from in years. Calls from numbers she didn't recognize. Emails from tabloids offering money for her story. And worst of all, a text from Arlo's school. "We need to discuss recent media attention and how to protect Arlo's privacy." "I'm so sorry." Raymond paced his office, phone pressed to his ear, already calling lawyers. "I should have been more careful. Should have anticipated. This was always going to happen." Thelma sat very still, hands folded in her lap to hide their shaking. "People like you don't date people like me without the world noticing. We'll fix this. Issue a statement. Control the narrative." "There is no controlling it." She stood. "They're calling me a gold digger, Raymond. Saying I trapped you with a pregnancy. Saying Arlo isn't even yours but I'm using him to." "Stop. Don't read that garbage." "I have to. Because this affects my son." Her voice rose. "He had kids at school asking if he's your illegitimate child. If I'm a prostitute. If. I'll handle it." "How? How do you handle people thinking the worst of me? Of us?" "By telling the truth." "Which is what, exactly?" She laughed bitterly. "That you slept with your maid, got her pregnant, and now you're playing house? That's so much better. That I'm falling in love with you." The words stopped her cold. Raymond crossed to her, took her hands. "That's the truth. I'm falling in love with you, Thelma. With your strength and your kindness and the way you love your son. With your dreams and your laughter and the way you make me want to be better. And I don't care what anyone says about it." "You should." She pulled away. "Because this will destroy you. The board already questions your judgment. Your father's will is still being contested. And now you're tied to a scandal that. You're not a scandal. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm the maid who got pregnant by a billionaire. That's all anyone will ever see. Then they're blind." "Raymond." "No." His voice turned fierce. "I don't care what they think. Any of them. You're brilliant and beautiful and the strongest person I know. You're going to be an incredible mother to our baby. You already are an incredible mother to Arlo. And if the whole world can't see that, then screw the whole world." She wanted to believe him. Wanted to fall into his arms and pretend love was enough. But she'd learned the hard way that love never was. "I need time," she whispered. "Time to think. Time to figure out what's best for Arlo. Thelma. Please. Just, give me space." He looked like she'd stabbed him. But he nodded. "Whatever you need." She packed a bag that night. Enough for a few days. Called her sister to pick her and Arlo up. Raymond watched from the doorway of his Bedroom. You're coming back, right? She couldn't answer. Couldn't promise something she wasn't sure of. Thelma, please. Tell me you're coming back. I don't know, she said honestly. I really don't know. As the elevator doors closed on Raymond's devastated face, Thelma pressed a hand to her small baby bump and tried not to cry. She'd known this would happen. Known fairy tales didn't come true for women like her. So why did it hurt so much to be right? Well, my beautiful viewers, that's where we'll stop for tonight. I know, you're probably yelling at your screens right now. Will Thelma go back? Will Raymond fight for her? Will the media destroy what they've built? And most importantly, will Raymond ever get to meet his baby? Drop your predictions in the comments. Tell me what you would do in Thelma's situation. Would you stay and fight? Or would you protect your heart and run? And if you made it this far, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support means everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss part 2 of this story. Until next time, keep believing in love, keep hoping for happy endings, and remember, sometimes the most impossible love stories are the ones worth fighting for. See you soon. Red Heart.